Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. Talking about the impact on affordable housing of these real estate investment firms buying up land, buying up single-family homes, turning them into rental properties. Talking about firms like Invitation Homes, American Homes for Rent. You're seeing them all across Middle Tennessee. And our guests, Ken Chilton, Tanaka Vercher, Metro Council member, TSU professor. And let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Charlene. Hello, Charlene?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Well, I'm just distressed that what we thought was going to be a beautiful, nice subdivision of wonderful homes has been turned into a rental community with no input from us. It was all done without us knowing anything about it, and we had nothing to say about it. And I've been in this neighborhood 46 years, and I built the first house on my street. And I just find this unacceptable when they're putting all these apartments everywhere around here. We don't have the infrastructure or the schools for it.
So you live near Blue Water Point, I believe. Is that what you're saying? This subdivision?
Yeah, absolutely.
That we
I go down
about.
Butler Road every day of my life. I live on Moss Landing.
And when did you hear that it was going to be a rental community instead of single family owner occupied?
We had been out of town, and when I got back, Karen Johnson let us know about the newspaper article and the story on Channel 5.
All right. Yeah, so there you go. Well, thank you. Thanks for calling in, Charlene. I'm sorry that's what you discovered. All right, what do you think, Councilwoman, about what she's saying there?
I mean, so Ben, she made a very valid point. You know, as council members, being the zoning authority for our communities, when we present projects, you know, in tandem with developers, what we're saying to the community is that you can trust us and you can trust them. So she makes a very valid point. This project, I was in the meetings again. You know, what we ended up with was not the consensus of the community, and it was not. We understood it to be something different, and it really is a switch and bait. The unfortunate thing is that these conversations that we're having this evening, that community, the ink is already dried. So hopefully we can prevent this from happening to any other community.
What I heard after that story, when it was discussed in the story about, you know, new zoning laws or whatever, the issue of fair housing, and that we cannot violate the Fair Housing Act. Can you talk a little bit about that, Ken Chilton, and what that is and how it may violate it, and what, if there is some sort of legislation, they need to be careful about?
Yeah, I think they just need to be careful is the key term. First, I would say, at least on this development, this is not affordable housing. This is not low-income housing. This is not affecting some of the protected classes in the Fair Housing Act. I think if you heard that, they're probably getting at the concern about NIMBYism, which is the acronym for not in my backyard. So if something was previously approved and then it got sold and then got turned into affordable housing, that perhaps people could then fight it because it was affordable housing, and that might violate the Fair Housing Act. I don't know, because no one has come out and explained that I'm aware of to council members, and perhaps Councilwoman Vercher can say that I'm wrong on that, but I don't know what that concern would be, especially when it comes to built to rent homes by companies like this. So it just doesn't make sense. And to her previous point, planners want people to participate. They want community input. But when communities are left out and that transparency is not there, people become more cynical. People are playing by the rules. They're getting their mortgage, they're making their payments, and then things happen to them by people in authority without any input, and that makes people angry. And I think that contributes to general anxiety that we see in society overall. So planners could do a better job of building relationships with communities that's based on transparency and honesty. And from what I can tell, that's all anyone is asking for in this case.
And what do you want to say about fair housing, Councilwoman?
Yeah, to Dr. Chilton's point, no one has articulated or conveyed to me in writing with a legal opinion how this violates fair housing.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Buzz, who is on the line. Hello, Buzz.
Hey, yeah, I'm glad you took my call here. I just wanted to make a comment. When we brought in all the pro sports and so forth, and now we're bringing in these super corporations, you can expect this type of situation to occur. And I've been living in Nashville all my life. I'm a senior citizen, and this is going to continue. I don't see any way whatsoever that it can be controlled. And we just well get ready for it because we voted for it when we voted for Bud Adams to be our corporate leader here in Nashville. And so that's my comment, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Well, Buzz, thank you. Thanks for that. So he puts it back to that. It's growth. There's no doubt we're a desirable place to live. And American Homes for Rent said this is an underserved market, undersupplied market. He says there's nothing we can do. You know, this is just the way it's going to be, and it's going to keep getting worse. What do each of you say to that? Councilwoman, what do you say?
Well, there's plenty that we can do. You know, just fundamentally, just starting at the planning process. You know, making sure that we're transparent in that process, and that, you know, if anything changes as it relates to the development that was initially presented to a community, you have to at least afford the council members and the leaders to be able to communicate that to their neighbors. You know, I stated this earlier, that you know how serious this is as it related to just the socioeconomics of the community, and Dr. Chilton elaborated on this too. But you know, the real core of this is just, you know, the trust in the government process. And you know, just nationally, we've seen what happens when people don't have trust and confidence in their elected leaders and in the actual process. You know, that's a whole nother conversation as it relates to that being. But back to this caller, there's much we can do, and it starts with him being engaged in writing his elected official, you know, not as it relates to, you know, those economic incentive deals, but, you know, just helping us formulate ideas, being those eyes and ears for us too, because a lot of times, a lot of this stuff goes up under the radar, and when it's brought to our attention, you know, we're here on Open Line having a discussion about it.
All right, very good. All right, we'll take a break, and Ken, we'll come back and talk to you. We'll take a break, be back right after this.